Welcome back to the Roach Motel. I have to apologize. My last broadcast, I made a few errors. Mustakas coming to the plate. That's right, Dana Carvey was who I meant when I was discussing an oppression of Tom Brokaw on Saturday Night Live. 1-2 the count. Also, the Lakers versus the Heat. Got that one wrong, too. Turns out the Lakers won 4-2 instead of 4-1. There's Mustakas with a fly ball, 1 out. Aquino coming to the plate. Got to apologize for that dead baby story as well. That was not exactly what I was looking to do there. Didn't know the baby died. 0-2 the count here with Aquino. Got to apologize for that one. But anywho, yeah, sorry about that, folks. But today, I'll let you know, I've taken a break from selecting the stories. And we're allowing you to select the stories today. So we've got a great deal of listener-submitted stories on the Roach Motel. Welcome, I'm Josh Potter. Thank you for joining us once again for episode 5. And real quick before we get into it, I want to discuss my fact-checking a little bit more. But first, I have some dates I'd like to let you know about. The big one being on November 15th. That's what kicks everything off. It is Phoenix at Stand Up Live. I really want you to come out to that one because it will have been 288 days since I've headlined a comedy show. So, wow, come see what that's all about. November 15th in Phoenix at Stand Up Live. November 17th, then we move to Nashville, Tennessee, where I'll be at Zany's. And, of course, the day after that, November 18th, I'll be at Huntsville, Alabama with Stand Up Live there as well. So tickets for those up on my Twitter, right in the bio. The link is there, the link tree for all the dates. At J_Potter is my Twitter, or you can follow on Instagram as well, at Josh_Potter, and get tickets there, or you can go to the club's website for the dates there. Back to my fact-checking. Yes, I don't know. People want, I mean, it's just a natural sort of instinct to want to correct me when I make a mistake. I don't think I've ever come into this thinking, yeah, I'm an authority on facts. I thought that was quite clear. You know? Here I am thinking you all know me by this point, and maybe you don't. Maybe you're just learning about me, but the truth is, I am no role model. I am not a functioning adult. I'm finding out every day. Quarantine has made me realize that I have spent the last decade of my life. It's like I fell asleep at 22 and now I woke up and I'm 34 and I'm like, whoa, there was a whole time I was supposed to like learn how to do stuff in there. And I didn't learn anything. I just been chasing this comedy dragon, and it took this quarantine for me not to have comedy to realize, whoa, dude, you're fucking stupid. It's bad. So when you come at me with facts and stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're right. I never said I was going to get things right over here. Recently, what really threw me into this sort of realization is, Dr. Drew is, if you watch Dr. Drew After Dark, which comes out here on your mom's house every Friday, if you watched the last episode, Dr. Drew called me to confront me about my not having my surgery yet for my cyst. And he was upset that I haven't done it and things like that. Truth of the matter, folks, and I was too embarrassed to tell people this, I got fucking scammed on my insurance. I don't know how it happened, dude. I wish I could sit here and tell you how I got scammed. I went to the government website where you get the fucking, health and whatever it is, Affordable Care Act, Obama, whatever the fuck they call it these days. I went on the website to get that, and they ask you for your information. I gave it to them, and that includes your phone number. And then my phone started blowing up, and I just answered one of the calls, and they're like, you are inquiring about health insurance. And I said, yeah. And they said, well, can you give us a little background? So I gave them all the background they required. And they said, oh, here's a plan that you qualify for. And it's X amount of dollars a month, bobbity boop. It's a PPO. I'm like, great, hook it up. Let's rock and roll. And then I got it. I waited 2 weeks for the cards to come in the mail. They had cards. And I got it, and I started calling doctors, and they're like, we've never heard of that. And so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'm very thankful to my Twitch audience for me discussing this with them. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It turns out no one in LA accepts this insurance. And they're like, well, which insurance is it? And so I let the audience know on the chat, and a bunch of them did some research. And turns out it's not recognized by the Better Business Bureau. So, yeah, that was $600 off the fucking dome that I've lost. But, hey, you live and you learn, folks. And I'm essentially a fucking... I can't believe I'm 30... I just thought about it today. I'm 34 years old. It sucks. I just played a queef. I'm like, I'm 34, queef. No, it's brutal, dude. And so yeah, I mean, I'm no fucking authority on anything, you know. And again, that's why we're taking the I've taken the privilege of selecting the stories for the show out of my hands today and put them into your hands. Yes, I will. I'm sorry. I have to turn the sound back up. I turned it down for the music. So anyhow, what do you say? I just wanted to let you know about all that stuff that's going on. That's why I haven't gotten the surgery yet, and now I have to figure out another insurance. I'm probably going to go with one that's called like Blue Cross on this one. You know what I'm saying? Like just to really make sure. The other interesting feedback I've been receiving is from people who dislike sports, and I thought that we weren't really talking about sports per se, just things that maybe pertain to sports, maybe people that pertain to sports, but I didn't think that we were getting into the nitty-gritty too much. But people who don't like sports are very angry about sports even being discussed, I've learned. And I don't know where that comes from. What would you prefer me to talk about? Politics? I mean, like, what's out there? You're like, talk about anything else. I didn't realize that it was so polarizing. I just assumed that sports were just like fluff. You know what I mean? And then there was some fun to be had within it. You know, I could always be like these guys that we're going to start the show with, if you'd like, if you'd prefer. I mean, geez Louise, thank your lucky stars I'm not like these two fucking dipshits. What do you say we play that video, Enny?
Okay.
I mean, you make fun of other people for doing that.
Really?
You know what?
You're having a temper tantrum on air, man. Like you're like on live air right now.
You don't have to pay attention. It's cool.
What could possibly...
Just let me know.
Start doing the show. Shut up crying and do the show. You're live on air.
Then we'll come back. Okay, dude, Jason, now
you're live on air. Shut up and do the show.
Now, you're probably wondering, what are they bickering about? Did one of them sleep with the other one's wife? Did one of them insult the other one? No, they were discussing James Harden potentially getting traded from the Houston Rockets. And now they're having a fucking hissy fit. These are like 40, 50-year-old men. I don't know how old they are. Maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Say two 40-year-old men just crying at each other. Like, this is what happens, by the way, when you put two people together. You can see the man on the left. He's obviously the one. He's like, I got hot takes. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm not going to fucking bow to the man. I'm not going to give the company line. And then the other guy is definitely like, I grew up checking stats off for baseball. You know what I mean? He's got notebooks of statistics. He's got fucking notebooks of different athletes and their batting averages and shit like that. And then some program director came along and was like, let's put them together and see what happens. And they at first probably were very happy to just have a show. And then time has worn on and they've been talking to each other every day for fucking years. Every fucking day, 4 hours a day. And now it's just coming to a head where they can't even probably look at each other when they're not on mic. That's what happens to all these shows. And that's my favorite part. And you know, there's some poor producer who has to be the middleman and he has to talk between these two after hours and between breaks and things like that. I don't even know their names. All right, Jeff, Matt wants to talk about this today. Do you want to talk about that? And then he has to go back and forth. The poor fucking soul who probably makes minimum wage and is like 29 years old. But let's keep hearing these two fucking heads keep fucking crying with each other. Let's see how bad it gets.
You just checked out of a show for an entire segment.
No, I started doing the research you asked me to do during the last segment. No, you
I'm
asked
sitting
me.
here talking to you, and you're like, huh? What? You don't even have your microphone
I'm
on.
not going to sit here. It's already been 2 segments of horrible. If you want me to leave, I'll cut off the mic and I'll leave. Just do the show. It sounds horrible.
Go have a good time.
Oh, God, man.
You know, go do whatever the hell you're doing.
Man.
It doesn't matter.
Well, do the show. Quit being a bitch.
He's calling him a bitch, and then he walks off the air.
Shit, dude. That's the most embarrassing fucking radio I ever did. You act like a little bitch right there.
So they're on ESPN, and they're doing I don't even know where this is. This is just streamed on the internet. But yeah, he calls him a bitch and then walks off. They go to break, and then they just keep crying up to each other about being. And this all stemmed because the guy with the hot takes on the left, it was like, I think that James Harden might get traded in this offseason. And the other guy's like, you have no research on that. You have no fucking research on that. He didn't say fuck because they were on terrestrial radio. But, you know, Statman over there, he needs all his research. And so the guy on the left is just like, I don't do research, bitch. And then he complains. But you got one more? Let's keep it going. Let's see what happens here.
Ask me for the fucking numbers. I started giving you the numbers. I want to yell at you because you're acting like a bitch today.
And
We're live on air and you're acting like a bitch.
Well, you're acting like a fucking asshole.
So yeah, the guy on the left, clearly the alpha guy, right? Like he's like, you being a little bitch. You see how that guy, he got aggressive for like 2 seconds, and the guy on the right, the fat schlub guy, he fucking waffled. He was like, huh. And then he's like, you're being a fucking little bitch. He goes, you're being a fucking asshole, man. That guy cannot handle that type of confrontation. And you know he's acting like a child. Meanwhile, alpha guy on the left just is, maybe he's in the right. I'm kind of siding with the alpha guy on the left, to be quite honest with you. Because if this fucking idiot on the right had just attacked him on the air out of nowhere and was like, you have nothing to back that up. You have no research. You have no numbers, blah, 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 blah. Then I would have gotten pissed off too. I'd have been like, what are you doing, man? You're being a fucking bitch. So that works out. But let's get into the rest. So I could be like that. Would you prefer me to be like these fucking idiots and take everything seriously? Or we could talk about who's fucking who and all that kind of stuff. Let's get into the sports. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Dee, 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 dee. All right. The first guy we have up. This is fun too. This is also an element of sports that I wish people would appreciate, even if they don't enjoy watching it necessarily. But fandom is always awesome to me. I'm obviously a giant Buffalo Bills fan. I wear it on my sleeve. I walk around day to day, every day, talking about it and just living the life of it. And I understand it. I understand fandom, and I appreciate it, and I respect it. And I always appreciate a fan who is do or die, ride or die, no matter what, win, lose, indifferent. This guy, and this is what happens, by the way, when a team starts to be very successful. You start to get spoiled fans, and you start to realize who's real and who is bandwagoners. And we have a gentleman here who is a fan of the Super Bowl defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they suffered their first loss in quite a long time, in many a week. Since 2019, I think, was their last loss. And this gentleman handled it not great. Let's take a look. There's the score of the Raiders-Chiefs game. Here's Mr. Chief himself, big super fan. Let's see how he handles it.
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Talking to himself, that's a good sign. Uh-oh. It's turning for... Uh-oh, what's going to happen?
We lost to the fucking...
I don't know what that was. Did anyone catch what he said there? It was just a lot of screams. He's very upset. One game to the Raiders, and this man has gone fucking mental. Continue, please. Let's see how bad he gets.
Every play counts. Every game counts. Shit! We got shut out in the second half. Our performance for the Chiefs, a great F.
A great F.
That stands for fucked in the...
It does. F does stand for fuck. He is right. And I never got this. I'm a fan of a team that has lost my entire life. And I've never been disappointed like this after a loss. Then again, we haven't won a Super Bowl. But here's my thing. This team hasn't lost in over a calendar year, it seems, or something like that. I forget what the number is. It's not over a calendar year, but it hasn't been since like November or December of 2019 since they've last lost. And this guy is freaking out after one fucking loss. And he takes it further. Let's see.
No. That's the only videos.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
It's just a nice little picture wrap up.
I'm sorry. My bad. I thought he did some damage to himself at some point or burned some things at one point, but I could be mistaken there. But yes, no, he's very upset and he did not handle the loss well. And that shows, I don't know if that shows true fandom or fucking TikTok fandom, to be quite honest with you, because he is most definitely R-worded for being like doom and gloom after one fucking loss, but that's, that could be argued that, that's what a good fan does. I, again, have been rooting for a perennial loser. So when we lose a game, I go, yeah, that's what happens. We lose every now and again. Like the Bills have just lost their past 2 games. And, I'm kind of like whatever about it. I'm like, yeah, it's 2. We're still like in the running. Usually we've lost 4 games by now. But I want to get into some user submitted articles or some listener. I call it user submitted. That's stupid. Listener submitted articles. And people have been sending in quite a bit of things to Roach Motel at ymhpodcast.com. And so I wanted to get into those. Plus, I picked some ones last week. So I thought, why not cleanse the palate with some user-submitted ones, or listener-submitted ones, excuse me. But this one, a sports one, comes to us by way of Sean Fairbairn. And it's about Darius Leonard and his wedding ring. Darius Leonard, of course, plays for the Indianapolis Colts. And the Indianapolis Colts are, by the way, one of the few NFL teams that allow fans into the stadium on Sundays. The Lucas Oil Stadium caps an attendance at 2,500 people, so not a very large crowd. And while all those fans were treated to a 28-11 Colts win over the Vikings a couple of weeks ago, just one person left the stadium with Darius Leonard's wedding ring. And it wasn't Darius Leonard. So keep that in mind. After the Colts finished up their win, Leonard took his gloves off and handed them to a young fan in the stands. The moment had to have been special for that fan, but it took quite the surprising turn when he found Leonard's wedding ring in one of the gloves. The ring inadvertently was removed when he handed the gloves to the young fan, and Leonard didn't realize it at the time. Thankfully, an effort on Twitter got Leonard's attention when Bleacher Report's Tyler Brook tweeted that his stepnephew had the ring. Leonard responded with laughing emojis. I need that. Losing that wedding ring must have been stressful for Leonard, so it's great that he was able to get it back. He'll be able to laugh the story off now. I don't have a wedding ring. I couldn't imagine having a wedding ring stay on my little fingers. People love to talk about, by the way, that's the other thing people bring up beside my eyes, is my little hands. And yeah, this is what I look like. I don't know what you want me to do about it. I can't do anything about it. YouTube's up my fucking butt about saying words, like. And frankly, I'm just kind of like, fuck YouTube. I don't even want to be seen. I'd rather just be heard. You know what I'm saying? So, like, whatever. I mean, like, feel free. But I don't think I could fit a wedding ring on. I don't think they make wedding rings small enough for my little baby hands. And I don't know if I'm gonna. If I have a wife, if you had a wife, Enny, would you wear a ring?
Yeah, but because I would definitely lose it, like this man that lost his, I would. It'd be a fake one.
It'd be a fake one.
Yeah, I'd buy a fake one, like a fake diamond. Or
you'd
whatever.
have like a spool of them. Like you'd be like, all right, you just go. Like you can throw them out at the end of the day. They're like contacts.
Yeah, I'd get one of those really dumb ones that are just iced out completely, but they're like, $100.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do wedding ring, is it like a thing that's common? I don't know. I know like wedding bands, I guess, are for guys, but do a lot of guys have wedding rings?
I mean, I don't know. I just found out finally that wait, no, I might even have it wrong. Is it the left that the dude has it on?
Oh, you just found that out? That was like a 90s thing. I don't even think that's real anymore. Where you're talking about like if the right side of your ears are pierced, you're gay, and if your left side is you're straight. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, but I thought this was real. Isn't it that you have to have your wedding ring on the left or the right? I thought that was real. That's not a real thing?
I don't know. Can we Google it?
Yeah, I sure
can. We Google
Chief.
some wedding ring etiquette? Because I am so far removed from being married. I can't tell you how far away I am from that. And I don't know anything about it in terms of like who wears what. Left hand, it says. What is the significance of the left hand? Is it the same thing? Is it like straight people wear it on their left hand and right people or gay people have it on their right hand?
Let's see. It says after the ceremony, placed on top of the new. So it says the engagement ring is exchanged onto the right hand, so the wedding ring can be placed onto the left hand to be worn closest to the. It's some bullshit. I don't know. It seems like some stupid tradition. Yeah.
How do you even? I'm not a jewelry guy either, so I feel like I would fuck with it all the time. And NFL players wear jewelry at ridiculous, like during the games. It's so ridiculous to me. Like a wedding ring is one thing. Like he's wearing gloves and he's got his ring on underneath it. But I would think maybe take it off. I don't know. Isn't it uncomfortable? That's just me maybe. But other NFL players wear like full on chains when they're playing. In fact, who the fuck was it? Aqib Talib is the guy who snatched it. But I can't remember who the fucking wide receiver was who was wearing the chain off the top of my head at the moment. I want to say maybe it was DeAndre Hopkins, but I can't remember. I'm sorry. Or no, it was Andre Johnson. And he had a chain on his neck, and Aqib Talib fucking snatched it off during a game. And everyone's like, whoa, that's disrespectful. And it's like, yo, why are you wearing your fucking chain during the game? How about just leave that in the locker room? You need to be iced out when you're running routes. I mean, these people fucking get drilled over the middle, and you got to fucking... I remember when we were in gym class, we were told not to wear any jewelry, and then they would tell you horror stories. Like, you can't wear earrings because if you're jogging along the volleyball net, your ear could catch the net and then rips your ear off. We've seen it happen. Or it was like, if you fucking wear a chain and you're playing soccer and a guy grabs it, he'll sever your head off. You'll be decapitated. They would tell you little horror stories like that in gym class when you're like 8 years old. So you couldn't wear jewelry. But I guess that changed once he became a professional athlete. But that's it for the sports for today, friends. Let's get into the hard-hitting news that you've submitted at Roach Motel at ymhpodcasts.com. Thank you so much, by the way, for Sean for submitting that sports article. Let's get into the news. What do you say? And I know we are going to update people on Enny's QB stats. We'll do that at the end of the show. Don't think I forgot about that. Well, first up, and this has been the hottest story of the week. I'm not sure if I'm ready to crown this guy Queef of the week yet. We'll have to go through the story and see. But everybody's talking about CNN analyst Jeffrey Toobin jerking his D on the old Zoom calls that he was doing. That's right, Jeffrey Toobin, CNN's chief legal analyst and renowned reporter. This for those who might not have heard the story. He's a renowned reporter for The New Yorker as well. He's been sidelined at a pivotal moment in the run-up to the presidential election. The reason? He exposed himself during a Zoom call with colleagues in what he says was an accident. Not sure. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I'm a scumbag, and, maybe you're a scumbag out there, and I try to give scumbags the benefit of the doubt, Maybe he just got caught. Maybe he thought he was looking at porn. He didn't know he was on the Zoom. I don't know. Let's see what happened. The New Yorker said that it had suspended Toobin following the incident, and it said it was investigating the matter. The suspension was first reported by Vice on Monday. A CNN spokesperson says Jeffrey Toobin has been asked for some time off while he deals with his personal issue, which we have granted. Oh, that's nice of them. He was like, can I have some time off? I was jerking off on the Zoom call. I'm going to need to deal with that. An upcoming event relating to Toobin's recent book about Trump was also postponed. Toobin declined to comment. CNN business reporter instead pointing to his statements to Vice, which indicated that the incident was an accident. Can we pull up those statements real quick while we look at OJ? Because I want to see maybe you can tell me what his excuse was, why it was an accident.
You got it.
Well, let's check out OJ real quick, because OJ has something to say about Jeffrey Toobin. And if there is someone on Twitter who's always the voice of reason and always there to just set us all straight, it's Mr. OJ.
Damn, Jeffrey Toobin. At least Pee Wee Herman was in an X-rated movie theater. I'm just saying.
I fucking love OJ, dude. I don't care that he killed his wife. I don't care anymore. It's amazing. He's so smart. He knows what he is. He knows that he's OJ, and he knows where he can charm people. I've heard feminists, people who wear pussy hats to rallies, be like, I don't know what it is. I just love OJ. And it's like, because he knows what he's doing. He gets on Twitter. He doesn't ever type. Ever. He knows the difference. He knows that if he speaks to the camera and gives you that fucking Hertz Rent-A-Car smile, that you're going to just be like, I love this guy. And he beat a murder charge with that smile. He was like, I'm OJ. And the jury's like, he's OJ, he's innocent. And that was that. So God bless. I fucking love OJ. I don't give a shit what anyone says. So here we have the statements, eh? I'm not going to be able to read it, so please to be reading it for me.
It says,
if you can just get to the nitty gritty, if you see it there, I think I can do it actually. How about we just do this, folks? I'm going to try and read a screen across the room. What do you say? You on board? You want to see me do it? Okay. So scroll up to the top there, eh? Just to see what, okay. You're going to have to scroll with me here like a teleprompter. The New Yorker said on Monday that it had suspended its staff writer Jeffrey Toobin and exposed himself. Okay, so we know all that. Let's get down to a statement. Added Monday afternoon about reports that he exposed himself. Mr. Toobin said in a statement, I made an embarrassingly stupid mistake. Well, that's for sure. Believing I was off camera. Not sure how that goes. I apologize to my wife, family, friends, and coworkers. I thought I had muted the Zoom video. I thought no one was on the Zoom call could see me. When asked by email on Monday evening about the nature of the second call, Mr. Toobin 60 declined to comment further. A spokeswoman for the New Yorker, where Mr. Toobin has worked for more than 25 years, said in a statement that Mr. Toobin has been suspended while we investigate the matter. Okay. A couple of things. I know the urge to jerk your D. I know it. It can overcome you in times when it's not necessarily convenient. I cannot put myself in the position where I need to jerk my dick so bad that I hang up a Zoom call and hastily start cranking it. Especially at the age of 60. Like, you don't have jizz just coursing through you at that age. So, like, that's where I start to think it's a lie. Because I want some guys, and I'm just speculating here, and I'm not putting this onus on Jeffrey Toobin in any way. It's just, again, speculation and me grasping at straws, trying to make sense of this whole thing. Some guys get off on the fact that they're getting off in a kind of a hairy situation, whether it be in public or maybe somebody could be watching them. So he's like, he's down there. He could be like, right now I could be jerking my dick. You don't even know. You know what I mean? I could have had my dick out for the last 28 minutes. You don't even fucking have any idea. And maybe that's what he was hoping when it comes to the Zoom call. But he must have like fucked up, and he was probably like, the table was shaking and shit, and like his hands like, and he's sweating, and they're like, Jeff? And he's like, huh. And then, I don't know what he was saying too, because he didn't have it muted. So like maybe he really outed himself too. He was like, Sarah, like one of the women on the call. Oh, look at her fucking tits. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? I would love if somebody has that Zoom out there to leak it. I'm sure that won't happen. But these are all things that we need to know, because if he was just kind of like, I can't even put myself in his shoes to be like where I'd make the mistake. I can understand, well, I'm hanging up the Zoom now, and you hang it up and then you pull up some porn or whatever and you're jerking off looking at your computer, and then you go, oh shit, the camera's still on. I can see that maybe for a 60-year-old man happening at some point. But this guy seems kind of like he's well versed in technology, like he's done a Zoom or two. And I think I'm just speculating again. I think he might have been cranking it to one of the people on the Zoom call. I don't know. I'm no authority. That's all I'm saying. Next up, we have an interesting story that story, by the way, was submitted. Was this one? Oh no, this one I did pick out. I had to get to it. Sorry, that one wasn't submitted, but we have another one submitted by the same gentleman from before, actually, Sean Fairburn. Thank you for sending this one in, because this one involves my hometown, and it involves a gentleman that I've actually been lucky enough to meet a couple of times. What do you just say? Why don't we just play the video and we'll get into the context of the video after we watch it, because the video is...
We are not doing this right now. We are not doing this right now. No, it's okay. Hey! We are not doing this right now. Hey! We are not doing this.
No.
No, it's okay.
Dude, keep your hands off. You better get off my wife. Dude.
So what we're watching, folks, if you're just listening at home and iTunes and things like that, by the way, rate and subscribe and review and all of that. If you're just listening, what we've been witnessing here is a body cam of a police officer in the Buffalo area, by the way. It's not Buffalo police. I forget exactly the jurisdiction, but it is in Western New York. We're watching a body cam footage of a woman being arrested, and her husband is very distraught about that, and he comes over to the cop shirtless and pushes him, and then he subsequently gets arrested. And you say, okay, what kind of white trash maniac is this? Well, turns out it's a gentleman who is on the Supreme Court of New York State in the 8th Judicial District. His name is Mark Grisanti, and his wife Maria Grisanti is the woman in the said video getting arrested. But yes, he's shirtless, New York State judge, former New York State senator also, by the way, and that's where I have a bit of history with the gentleman. Back when I was doing radio, the radio show I worked for, the Shred and Reagan Show, we used to rail on this senator, Antoine Thompson, Democratic senator, just a terrible senator. If you live in the area, you know he was just a fucking walking gaffe. And so this gentleman, he actually changed parties. He was a registered Democrat who ran on a Republican ticket to just try and usurp Antoine Thompson, and we got fully behind him, and we had him in studio all the time to try and get him to beat Antoine Thompson. And there's a picture right there from my BlackBerry in 2010 of Mark Grisanti in studio, back when we was still like, I don't even know what we would do with these pictures, because I think we had Twitter at the time, 2010, yeah. So I would tweet pictures like, Mark Grisanti in studio right now, is live on the air. And so yeah, there he is. And toward the end of his Senate tenure, he actually got into another fight in public, which was at the Seneca Niagara Casino. And he got involved in an altercation where he then stated, you know, I was trying to break up a fight, but it turns out witnesses and cameras and things like that, they assured everyone that he was the aggressor. But no charges were filed from that, and he kind of just drifted away, in my opinion. I don't know where he went, but then turns out he ran for this position of New York State judge, and here he is now. Let's get into just some more background of the story, because so he pushes a police officer, right? Physically puts his hands on a police officer. Enny, what do you think would have happened to you if you did that?
I don't think I'd be able to produce this show anymore, homie.
I think you would have gotten shot.
Immediately.
And I mean, like, and people would have been like, it's justified. You know what I mean? Like, there would have been people on the internet, well, he shoved the cop. That's what you get for shoving a cop. What do you think happened to Mark Grisanti?
I didn't mean to tackle you, but I mean, you kind of threw my wife down on the ground pretty hard, and I don't appreciate that.
I understand that.
All right? I really don't. If I would do that to your wife and you were outside, you'd do the same thing.
Sure, if you were a police officer and she was screaming in my face.
No, my daughter's a police officer, and I know what you guys are going through right now, and trust me, my daughter's a police officer, my son-in-law's a police officer, my
And if someone was screaming at your daughter and approaching her like that, she would have done the same thing.
No, you grabbed my wife from over there and dragged her over here, which was not necessary.
I can't believe how wasted he is, too. Like, why don't... You're a fucking... Put a shirt on, dude. If the cops show up to my house, I put a shirt on. This isn't... I mean, this guy is like... It's like right out of Cops. I mean, like, why doesn't he have a fucking shirt on? He's a fucking rich man. He's a judge, for Christ's sake. I know you hear him talking, and you're like, this fucking greaseball. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what? He's like, hey, you're touching my wife and shit. Like... You're like, this guy's a fucking judge? Yeah, he is, it turns out, and he's a former senator. So, Yeah, so he discusses, as you can hear, his relationship to police officers, how he has many in his family. He knows, I know what you guys are going through right now. I know it's tough for you, so I pushed your ass. You do the same shit to me. But let's see. This is my favorite part is when I think he calls somebody he knows when he's put into the back of the cop car. But keep the tape rolling. He gets put in the back of the cop car, and his privilege is outed by someone that he calls up here. Let's hear it.
They're saying that you pushed an officer. You wouldn't do that, would you?
You know what? When he dragged Maria. When the two girls were on Maria, he was dragging Maria across the street and actually was taking her down on my front lawn.
Taking her down.
And I basically said, "Listen, just talk to her." And I pushed him, and I said, "Don't friggin' tackle her."
Don't friggin' tackle her. I pushed him. It's a fucking senator that I got behind. I can't believe I was like, this guy's great. Like back in the day, because he was a Republican who changed his views on gay marriage and made it and voted, for the whatever the fuck it's the Equality Marriage Act or whatever. And I thought that was great. And I was like, this guy's great. And then he got into a little altercation. I'm like, he's in the fucking Italian Guido guy, blah, blah, blah. I love though that they called him up and they're like, you wouldn't do that, would you? He's like, fucking pizza. Let's see what the outcome was from everything. Oh fuck! He apologized. Blah blah blah. It doesn't say here. It doesn't say here exactly what happened, but we know what. I mean, I can tell you right. The charges got dropped. I mean, and nothing. And now he's answering for that aspect because nothing was brought upon him. And again, if Enny would have done it, or me, I mean, if I would have done it, I don't think I would have gotten that kind of leeway. I would have definitely gotten clubbed. Or something. But I'm white, so I wouldn't have got shot. That's the good news, right? White privilege. Hey. It's fun sometimes. I don't know, right? If I'm going to have it, I might as well flaunt it, right? Is that wrong, Enny? Was I racist?
That's how you got to do it, man. You gotta flaunt what you got.
Like, wouldn't you, if you had white privilege, wouldn't you be like, fuck, this is dope?
I would do so many illegal things.
Let's rock it while we got it, right? I recognize it, and I know that it's there, and I know that we have to relinquish some of it. But while we got it, hey, I'll shoplift and then go, what, me? No, I don't do anything like that. I have such a guilty conscience that I can't really commit crimes unless it's against a corporation.
Yeah, no, I'm the same actually. I can't do anything to people because that's too messed up. Everybody's got a story,
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't do that either. If it was like the government or a corporation, I don't mind fucking those people over. But, and I haven't really, but, hey, something might come out down the... No, I'm just kidding. Nothing's going to happen. I don't do anything. I told you earlier. I can't even figure out how to get health insurance.
That'd be pretty hilarious if you and me ever tried to rob a bank together.
Oh my God.
That'd be very interesting.
I wouldn't know. It would never happen. We'd be like, all right, first we got to get the guns. How do we do that? And then be like, I don't know, I'll call a guy. And then it would take 2 weeks and we'd be like, I got to get on that gun thing. And then we'd get the guns and then we'd be like, okay, now we got to figure out a strategy. And then maybe we'd figure it out, but then we'd change it 6 times. By the time it happened, the bank would be closed and, capitalism would die. That's how long it would take for us to go through it. Don't you think?
Yeah, it'd be impossible. You'd probably start with go to Bank of America, and I'd be like, "What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of the bank. Just any bank. I don't have that. I just got Cash App, bro."
Yeah, right. I don't even know how banks work. I'd be asking the person. I'd be like, "Where do you keep the money?" The person that works there. She's laying on the ground. I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" Hey, by the way. Do you know where the safe is?
He's like, put the money in the bag. Are you putting it in the bag yet? I can't tell. Are you putting it in there?
I wouldn't even be able to be that aggressive. I'd be like, put the fucking money in the bag, bitch. I'm sorry about this. I'm really sorry. I'm not going to shoot you. Don't worry. Just kind of pretend if you can. Just act scared so they don't fuck with me. You're doing a great job. Thank you. This next article comes to us by way of Donnie Thatcher, who submitted it at Roach Motel at ymhpodcast.com. The headline reads, security flaw left smart Chastity sex toy users at risk of permanent lock-in. Just because almost every gadget or appliance can be connected to the internet doesn't mean they should be. Outages can render these smart devices useless, and many use weak security that can make them easily hackable. Holy shit. And as security researchers recently found out, the consequences of having a major security flaw in one popular sex toy could have been catastrophic for tens of thousands of users. UK-based security firm Pen Test Partners said the flaw in the Cellmate, I don't know how to say the name of the brand there.
I think it's Kiwi.
Kiwi? Okay, that
I'm
makes
not
sense.
sure.
Kiwi, it's spelled Q-I-U-I, folks, if you want to get one for your own dick. Kiwi Cellmate, internet-connected chastity lock, billed as the world's first app-controlled chastity device. It could have allowed anyone to remotely and permanently lock in the user's penis. Ooh la la. The Cellmate chastity lock works by allowing a trusted partner to remotely lock and unlock the chamber over Bluetooth using a mobile app. The app communicates to the lock using an API, but that API was left open without a password, allowing anyone to take complete control of users' devices. Because the chamber was designed to lock with a metal ring underneath the user's penis, the researchers said it may require intervention of heavy-duty bolt cutters or an angle grinder to free the person's cock. Ah, boy. I'm having second thoughts about my dick cage at this point. That was my biggest fear about the dick cage, was not being able to get it off my dick. Can I say that? We haven't shot the dick cage thing. Is there any news about that? Have I skated free, Nadav?
It's in the works.
It's in the works?
It's in the works.
So that means it's not, they haven't forgotten about it. Okay. Definitely not. Okay. So there's no statements from anybody who has had their dick permanently locked in and then had to use bolt cutters or an angle grinder. I would have liked a statement from this journalist, but no. They didn't find anybody who's actually who've succumbed or become victim to this sort of thing. But yeah, that is a scary aspect of doing some of these remote sex toys. I know, Enny, that you and I mean, I don't know if I want to out you actually, but I know when I've brought this up, I've used the Love Sense.
It's Lovence.
Lovence, excuse me.
not to out myself.
Yeah, I was trying not to out you. I'm like, oh, no, you've heard of it, but then you're like, it's called Lovence. It's pronounced this way, and it was created by No, but yes, we've discussed those gadgets before, and it is weird to do, but it's fun, kind of. Like, I was like on a city bus doing it. And I found the fruits of my labor later. But what it is, it's like you can control a vibrator from an app on your phone, and it could be across the country, for Christ's sake. So I'd imagine this is the same thing, but I don't know, like, is using a dick cage. Are you a dick cage guy, Eddie? Does this entice you in any way?
Well,
I knew it kind of did, because I remember I asked you about it, my hesitations with it, and you're like, well, you see what you do is, and I was like, okay. So does this remote one entice you in any way?
I mean, there's a reason why I know the pronunciation of this thing. I mean, it's here's the thing about this article, man. It's actually, I feel like everybody who would be into this, everyone who would buy this, would read this article and think, like, why would this not make me want to buy it even more?
Oh my God. That's a great point.
Because it's hot as fuck to imagine that someone else could hack it and, like, make you never leave. That's the point of it. The whole point is that you can't control it. That's
well,
why
I imagine it's an
quote.
extreme side of the fetish. Yes,
That's definitely extreme. Yeah, but that's why I put that quote at the end on their website. They had a quote that I bet a lot of
direct
people.
quote. Here we go. I'll read it for you. Kiwi believes that a true chastity experience is one that does not allow the wearer to have any control over it. Okay, well, they sure assured that. That's actually a great legal way to get around this whole thing. Like, if anybody ever sued them because they got their dick chopped off by a bolt cutter, they could be like, well, you see. Your Honor. Matlock comes in. Your Honor. Kiwi believes that a true chastity experience is one that does not allow the wearer to have any control over it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And then they'd be like, ah. Then OJ would show up and be like, I'm OJ. And they'd be like, all right. So that's an interesting tale. It's made me nervous about the about the dick cage. I'm not going to lie. But I'd imagine we have a key or something, I hope. And if I have to take bolt cutters to my dick, would you do it? Like, how would you get it off, Enny? Would you be like, or would you just keep it on as long as you can so you could just, like, come that much harder?
You mean if it was me stuck in there?
Yeah.
If it was me and it got stuck and it was, like, stuck not on purpose, like they wanted to get it off, I mean, yeah, I don't know, call paramedics or some shit. I don't know.
I think you got to call, like, fucking the Jaws of Life, you know? Who does that? The fucking EMTs, I guess? They got to come over with the fucking thing they cut you out of a car with. On your fucking dick. All right, you're going to have to look away because there's going to be sparks. Let's take a look at this next story real quick here. This one's, I'm not even going to read the headline because it's a fun little adventure between husband and wife. Victoria Cilliers, whose cheating husband tried to kill her by wrecking her parachute, recalls the callous sexual betrayal that emerged in court. That's right, it's a parachute sabotage fail. A man trying to sabotage his wife's parachute, evidently unsuccessful, as they called it a fail, but still an attempted
murder.
On Saturday, in an electrifying extract from her new book, this bitch wrote a book about this. This really backfired in the husband's face. Victoria Cilliers revealed how she plunged 3,000 feet after her parachute failed to open during a routine jump. She plunged 3,000 feet after her parachute failed to open during a routine. Did she have the backup parachute going? My first thought was, I'm still alive. Slowly coming round, I realized I was lying on soft soil. She just fell out of a plane 3,000 feet and lived. Holy shit. Holy shit. What's happening? I tried to ask myself when... Oh my God, I can't even fucking... And he said this is too long to read. That's what I stopped for a couple of moments ago. But I'm going to read it. We're going to skip through it. So she fucking jumped out of the plane. Fucking plummeted 3,000 feet. It's not like the first one failed and she was like, that's weird, and then had the reserve chute open up. No, none of them opened. And she just fell to her... she stayed alive. She just said, I'm still alive. Holy shit. I have to find out what happened to this fucking bitch. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I'll look it up for you. There was a ton on here. This would have been, 12 pages. So let me find the details. You keep reading.
So after this story is so convoluted. Like her husband must have been such a fucking dipshit that they went and suspected him right away. So she initially blames herself, and she says here, no, her husband was having an affair. There was money disappearing from her accounts, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't even go into like how he fucking manipulated the shoot. This just literally tells this whole article is trying to sell this stupid lady's book. This lady who did nothing but fall from a plane and live. That is an achievement, I guess. Is it worth writing a book about? She can't walk ever again, right? What's the deal? Does it say?
Let me keep looking. I'm not sure yet.
After 6 weeks, the trial was drawing to a close. I was at home and I heard the news there had been a retrial because the jurors were unable to reach a verdict. At last, more than 3 years after my fall, the jury delivered the verdict guilty on 2 counts of attempted murder. He was sentenced to 18 years. I didn't even glance at him as I left the courtroom. It doesn't say, I want to know how he did this. There's so much more I wish I knew.
Well, see, the issue with that is
her
it's
pelvis
all
was smashed into 4. Jesus Christ.
It's all alleged, so there's no documentation of what happened. It just,
And they still convicted him.
Well, it was clear that they said that there were some springs removed. Let me see if I can get the actual, what it actually says specifically.
Yeah, but her, so she suffered from massive amounts of injuries and lived. I don't know what her day-to-day is now or what her quality of life is, but evidently a jury found enough to, because I just want to know how he, were these people avid skydivers. It doesn't say any context as to why she was skydiving, how the husband would have been able to manipulate the parachutes. I've been skydiving one time, and when you go the first couple of times, you go with another guy, and he packs the chute. You don't even worry about it. You give him $200. You just clip yourself to him, and then he's like, all right, at this amount, I'm going to tell you to pull the cord, and he's going to throw you out of the plane and all that stuff. You really don't have to do anything. You're just like a baby. You're kind of like a baby Bjorn. It's doing the tandem jumps, you know? So if my husband was trying to kill me, he'd have to kill that guy behind me too. You know what I mean? That guy would die as well. So I don't, I'm just wondering how the logistics go. If this guy, Emil, maybe he owned a skydiving company. Maybe they were both skydivers. I don't know how he would be able to do this. And if I'm the husband, that's the defense I'm using, by the way. I'm going like, how would I do that? I don't even know how to pack a parachute, let alone unpack one properly to make it not open. That's why I need to be a lawyer for these people. How would he get convicted of such a thing? I've got to look more into that. We'll look more into it as we go. If you know, you can always let us know at Roach Motel at ymhpodcasts.com if you have any insight as to how this man would have done it. We don't want to know because I don't want to murder somebody that way, but I want to know because I just want to find out what the jury would have convicted him on, what they were basing it on. It doesn't say in any of this article or what we're looking at on the screen. But do let me know if you come across anything.
I see something here. It says they wanted me to know that they've started an investigation. She's talking about detectives that were at her door. It says that there were slinks missing from her parachute. Slinks are the vital piece of equipment that connect the harness to the parachute. Without them, you don't stand a chance.
Again, if I'm the husband, I go, I don't know what the fuck a slink is. Where's the slink? I don't know. You know what I mean? Just play dumb.
Yeah, the only information we got about him was that he's in the military, so maybe he...
And he happens to be a parachuter? A parachute? What do they call those? Paratrooper? He's like the best paratrooper in the history of that army. And you're like, I don't have any experience with these sort of things. Well, I hope we get a little bit of a revelation in the weeks to come. Thank you for submitting that story. As little detail as it had there, John, was it John? Yes, John Bett submitted that parachute deal. And another John submitting this last article that we'll get into here as we wrap things up. This one we added here at the last moment, and I find it very interesting. A plane passenger was caught smuggling gold nuggets in his rectum. Why, do you ask? Is it illegal to have gold nuggets in customs and things like that? No. He was trying to avoid taxes. Oh boy, Josh, how much are the taxes? 18%. So it might have been a great deal. I don't know what this was worth. Let's see if the article discusses. Indian airport authorities literally struck gold when they spotted a man walking oddly. I imagine he would. Look at the fucking image of this. This guy had this in his asshole. All the way up in his ass. Like, this shit was coming out his mouth, it looks like. How big is that? I wish we had something to scale. Like, I wish they, instead of putting... I mean, is that 3 separate pieces?
Yeah, that's 4 separate pieces.
Well, 4, yeah, because you got that little one. This is like what, if you have like a proper shit, it comes out this way. 3 big long ones and a little punctuation at the end. But this is fucking gold, my man. And this is not like malleable in any way. It's not like it's mushy or anything. This is solid. So he was definitely walking oddly. Dr. Drew would not approve of having this in your ass, that's for sure. The Go Air passenger arrived from Dubai on Tuesday at Kerala's Kannur Airport, where he tried to avoid paying an 18% tax on his precious nuggets. These are more than nuggets. Those look like Subway sandwiches. By smuggling them where the sun don't shine, the National reported. Officials at the Air Intelligence Unit mined the stash worth about 60 grand. So can you look up real quick what's 18% of 60 grand? From the unidentified smuggler's butt. Another passenger on the same flight was caught carrying more than 3 pounds of gold. He wasn't as ambitious, it seems, but he didn't put him in his ass, at least. If that traveler, they didn't say if he put it in his ass, actually, the guy with 3 pounds of gold. I'd imagine that would make the story, though, you know? On Wednesday, customs agents seized just under a pound of gold from passenger who landed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so these are other gold people. So many people trying to smuggle gold. This one doing it in his ass the way that drugs are smuggled. Do you think, like, he's really into putting shit in his ass? And if you are, by the way, smuggling stuff must be the most fun. Like, you look forward to smuggling it. I always thought that was odd, by the way, when people were just like, you talk about smuggling weed or whatever. What do you have the 18%, by the way?
You said 18% of
60 grand.
Of 60 grand?
Yeah.
18% of 60 grand should be.
Should be. I mean, don't you have a calculator?
Yeah. I mean,
Are you trying to do the math? Are you good at math? Can you do that in your head?
Yeah, 60 grand. I mean,
I'd like you to guess, and then we can fact check.
Yeah, it is a little less than 1,200. Here, let me.
I'm gonna look. I know. Yeah, I got it. So you guys are just doing this fucking math in your brains. I'm gonna do it on my fucking thing here. $60,000.
Oh, 60. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Copy.
Times. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm doing math in my brain. Times point. I'm not doing it in my brain. I'm doing it on the fucking calculator, and I can't even. I'm like, what do I do? Times 0.18. Okay, it's 10 grand. So he avoided paying 10 grand. I guess it's worth it to put it in your ass for 10 grand and carry and walk around very. I wish we had a scale of like we saw the pieces of gold, which look cumbersome to carry in your asshole. I just don't have a picture of the man's asshole, so I can't gauge how. The how it all worked. I'm trying to picture it in my head, man. But, God, how do you stick that shit up there? Enny, have you ever put anything in your ass to get it across something?
Hell no, man. Nothing goes up there, but I could tell you what comes out.
Nothing goes up there?
Nah.
Not even a finger?
No.
Not even a tongue?
No thanks.
Come on, dude. You gotta put tongues in your butt.
Entirely uninterested, man. That's just the one thing.
You say that now, but you haven't had a tongue in your butt.
It's true. I haven't.
You got to put one in there.
I don't think I have to.
You do, just to see. I'm telling you. I thought I was. I'll tell you this. I was indifferent at first. I was like, I don't care either way. I don't think I need that. And then it happened to me. And I got to tell you, a whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes. I'm telling you, just try it.
No, but that's the difference, though. You said you started out with indifference.
Yeah, you're adverse to it.
Very much so. It's complete rejection.
What is it for? Why? Because it's gay?
No, it's just the ass thing. Like, it's the same thing with shit. It's why I don't shit. It's like I don't do it naturally. I just don't want to.
You just have that whole area is just condemned.
Yeah, I don't like to even know that it exists.
You don't like exits, entrances, nothing. Fuck.
But I will say, what comes out is way worse than those gold, you want to call them nuggets or whatever.
You mean as far as like size?
Yeah, size, like length, girth.
Shit.
Really? I basically shit fat dicks like twice a month.
More than that gold, you think? That's what I would like, a scale. I wish we could see it next to a nice log of shit or something. But yeah, do you ever have a guy who is like you ever meet a guy in your life who's like really eager to smuggle shit in his ass when you don't need to? And you're like, why do you want to put this in your ass so bad, dude? Like whether it be flying with weed or something like that, they're like, I'll put it in my ass. And you're like, you really don't have to. I'm like, you sure? I could always put it in my ass. You're like, how about you relax, buddy? He's just very enthusiastic about putting things up his butt. And, like I said, I've been dabbling. I won't lie. Tongues, fingers. A young lady used a toy one time, and I don't mind it. I'm fine. Not a big one. It wasn't like a fucking dick or anything. It was like a little one of those like pens, and it was buzzing, and she didn't even put it in my butt. But I'm like, it was just near there, and it was fun, So
you mean like a vibrator? What do you mean?
Yes,
like a
vibrator.
Oh, okay, got you.
But it was like the size of a pen, like very small pen, like size vibrator. Yeah, man, I'm all about it. I'm 34 now. It's time to start experimenting with my beehole. I figure, it's quarantine. Might as well stick some shit up there and see what's up. What's up? And that's where I want to leave you today with that message. Take that one with you. Put things in your butt and see what happens. Thank you so much for tuning into the 5th episode of the Roach Motel. Thank you to all the people who submitted articles. Real quick before we go, I do want to review, after 6 weeks of NFL football, where Enny's QB selections are in terms of an update. Passing yards is what we're basing them off of. Enny, of course, only knowing what they look like and what their fashion is on these pictures alone has ranked them where he thinks they will end the season in terms of passing yardage, with Tom Brady being number 1, Ben Roethlisberger being number 2, and so on and so forth, down to number 10, where, my God, Josh Allen is just sorely disrespected. But let's see where they are after 6 weeks of football. Now, in real life, when you're viewing this, we have had 7 weeks of football, but because of the way we tape the show, we are only at 6 weeks for most of the teams. So please to be forgiving me on that. And here are the post 6-week stats. Josh Allen, up at number 1, baby. Now, of course, a couple of teams have had bye weeks, Ben Roethlisberger being one of them. Jimmy Garoppolo at the very end, injured for quite a few games, hopefully going to rebound. And then a recent update, Enny, Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick, who you have ranked, I forget where you had him ranked, 6 maybe, and he's at 5, which is very accurate. Unfortunately, though, he's been pulled from the starting job of the Miami Dolphins, and now Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the new starter. I'll never know how to say his fucking name, of course, out of Alabama, and I have a distinct memory of watching him come back from behind against Georgia in that championship game in college back in 2017, right before I moved here. So I love Tua, and I hope he does well, but I'm going to allow you, Enny, if you want, take a look at Tua and let me know if you want to substitute him for Ryan Fitzpatrick, or we can allow them to tag team this sort of thing.
You said take a look at Tua?
Yeah, his name is, just type in TUA, Miami Dolphins, and you'll be able to pull him up for sure. You don't have to, and I don't know how to say his fucking last name, let alone how to spell it. Everyone just calls him Tua. So pull him up and let me know what you think of this guy when you take a look.
Now, do you want me to look at just his...
just images of him. You can look at whatever.
His regular look. Okay,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
see.
See, one's obviously not him in a football uniform.
All right, so he looks young.
He's very young. He's a rookie quarterback. Just got drafted this very year, back in April, back in the beginning of quarantine. So,
That's
I mean, do we
good.
have any street clothes of Tua?
Let's see if I could do post-game.
Yeah, there you go. He hasn't had many post-game press conferences in the NFL, and I don't know that college does it necessarily. But there he is, one without his helmet on. There's a couple without his helmet on. What kind of vibes you get from this gentleman?
I mean, he's young. He looks aggressive. He's black. I like it.
I was waiting for that one.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, we're going to put him with Ryan Fitzpatrick. We'll have him tag team it, and we'll see. We'll just keep it going that way. So it'll be Fitzpatrick/Tua. And don't count Ryan Fitzpatrick out yet, by the way. This is a tale as old as time for Fitzmagic. He'll be back week 11 probably starting, whether it be for the Dolphins or for another team. But again, thank you so much for joining us for week 5, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please to be still rating and subscribing and giving us all the stars and the reviews and the comments on iTunes and elsewhere. And also, if you can watch on YouTube, please to be doing that. If you're an audio person, maybe check out the show on video. Sorry I look like this for all those who do watch it on video. One more time with my dates, I want to let you know, November 15th, Stand Up Live at Phoenix. Please come to that. It'll be my first headlining set in 288 days. So I need people there to find out if I still know how to fucking do this. Also, I want to let you know about Zanies in Nashville, November 17th. That's happening, and so is November 18th at Huntsville, Alabama at Stand Up Live. All those tickets can be found on my Twitter at J_Potter and on my Instagram at Josh_Potter. And our outro song, we've got an outro song today, folks, by Nikki Notes. Thank you for sending that in. You can do that as well, please. I love hearing all your beds and your outro music. And by the way, your queefs. We didn't have a queef of the week. I'm sorry, but we did have a queef submission I want to get to. I just realized. I'm sorry about that. I want to play it for you. This is from Ruben, and Ruben is a gentleman's name, but this is from his wife. And I do encourage all of you to record your wife's queefs. Hopefully she knows you're doing it. That one sounds like she knew. That's an amazing queef from Ruben and his wife. Thank you, Ruben, and thank you to your wife. And by the way, I want to discourage some people from submitting porn stars and people who traffic in the queef world. I don't want random queefs. We know that people can queef on command. We know that there's some wonderful queefs out there, but I want Roach Motel listener queefs or people who are close in proximity to Roach Motel listeners, meaning like Ruben, his wife, or maybe you have a sister, or maybe you have a mom. submit all those queefs at Roach Motel at ymhpodcasts.com. And again, thank you for the outro, Nikki Notes, and thank you for the instrumental we played earlier. That was Glacier by Ike Tyson. Thank you so much for sending those. And again, the email is roachmotel at ymhpodcasts.com. Thank you to Enny, Nadav, and Zolo in the booth. Thank you to Tom and Christina for giving me a show. And thank you to all of you for continuing to watch it.